We all have possessions, and it's easy to write them off as just stuff. But what do these objects say? What are they? How do we treat them? Why do we keep them? What can they tell us about their owners? You are traveling to a foreign country. What do you bring?
I'll start with my tea, stereotypical British beverage. I kind of brought it as a joke, and then I didn't actually realise there would be such a small amount of tea here. You guys do have tea. I'm not saying you don't have tea, but it's a different type. This is just like you're like just your go-to tea. Like you come back from work, you have a cup of tea. It's got to be this brand. Well, it's not exactly this brand, but it's just you've always got to have that rock. This is my rock for tea.
I got this pen for my 18th birthday from my dad. He said real men use pens, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, thank you. He thinks pens are classy, which I totally agree, and it's a gold pen. Never used it because in America people use pencils. In China, when kids started to learn how to write characters, pencils are where people started off. Like I started learning how to write characters in Chinese with pencils, and then it moves up to pens, and then to the calligraphy brushes. It has long been an impression that successful people use pens. Like it's real classy. My dad was like, all right, there you go, you're an adult now. Carry this with you. I felt proud. I felt like he made me realize there's actually like a responsibility on my shoulder. Like I became a grown man with a pen. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of my father.
It was my grandmother's, and I took it from her. It's a book with the Psalms of David. My grandfather is a priest and a theologian and a cultural critic and a fairly powerful person in developing and propagating religious life in Romania. So growing up, I come from this household where religious life was kind of intense. And my grandparents tried to push that on me, and I hated it. Eventually, actually took on the religion onto myself as sort of like a choice rather than as something that my family would push onto me. This was a psalter that they had in the house. I don't know how long they had it. Eventually, one summer in Romania, I started praying from the psalter, and what felt wonderful about it is that it was both like a familial thing and a spiritual thing. And when I moved to the United States, I wanted to take this with me just because it reminds me of my grandmother very much. And it sort of, to me, signifies the sort of process from hating my family for the religion they were pushing onto me to coming to respect and appreciate and be thankful for them for offering me this gift that I could freely indulge into.
I think I was studying World War II at some point. I was talking about it to my uncle, and I think he had this book on his shelf, and he gave it to me to read. One of my favourite books. I read it quite a few times. This is probably my third copy of it. I think I was only 13 or 14 at that point, so I didn't properly understand everything in it because it's not a very easy book to read at that age. But the fact that he gave it to me made me want to understand it, so I think that's why I read it more than once. And the more times you read it, the more you attach yourself to the story. When a family member gives you something, it always has more of a value to you. Even if that book was a load of rubbish, I still probably would have read it quite a few times because just the fact he gave it to me and he sort of respected his opinion on what to read. And I brought it along to America because I would like to say there are some common themes that relate. I mean, there is like a British boy and he's away from home in a place that's very different. But I mean, I'm not in like Japanese occupied Shanghai here, or like I'm not in the middle of World War II. I don't know what it is. It's just I find it a really great story, and it's a great journey about travel and adventure and like difficulties.
That's a funny present from my mom. Quite old postcard. That's actually from my childhood, when I was 8 probably, or even less. So it's like 20 years old. We have this Father Frost, Ded Moroz, who takes all the presents to kids who behaved well throughout the year. And here is his granddaughter. She helps him. Her name is Snegurочка, and they are always together. And in this kind of style, my mom's writing me that I was good throughout the year, that she was happy with me, and she wishes me all the good things that she would love to happen in my life.
Ты уже много умеешь сама, но дед знает больше и желает тебе смекалки.
More, and that's why he wishes you to search, to be patient, to be happy, to see things, to listen to, not to be in a hurry, to think, to hope, to believe, to love, and to wait for a miracle.
I've yet to open it because I'm trying to get absorbed into American culture and not be as British. Oh no, the reason I haven't opened it is because I don't have a kettle, which is unfortunate. So I am craving tea right now. Could you brew some tea?
Would you like?
I would love some tea. You guys want tea? You can all try some of my Yorkshire tea.
This is probably the most valuable thing that I carry with me. It's a piece of jade of monkey. Because I'm a monkey. I was born in the year of monkey in 1992. I got this when I was 5. My mom bought this in Yunnan. It's like way down south. I'm from up north. So like she went traveling, she got me this piece of jade. And I don't usually wear stuff on my neck, but before I left China, I just decided to wear it because it reminds me of my mom and my family. And it's exotic and cool. I like it.
I was not baptized as a child. Even before that I had this, and after I was baptized it got its meaning, and it's very important for me. My mom became Orthodox and she was baptized, and then I had this feeling that I really want that to happen in my life as well. Icons are very important for Orthodox Church, and Mary is very important for Russia. People think like that. I mean, it's not what Church say, but people feel that they are closer and more protected by Mary. When I travel, I still at some point need to feel like I'm at home, so that's why I take it with me.
Okay, so the hat doesn't have a single story attached to it, really. I got it just before I moved to university. I live in London, which is pretty cold generally, and then I moved to southwest England to go to university, and that's even colder. And I think it's quite a subtle way of saying where I'm from. Put it on. Just wear it for the whole interview. And then it goes over your ears, keeps your ears warm. It's fantastic. I don't see many people wearing like American flags over here. I see flags everywhere, like on people's houses. Like people don't put British flags on their house unless it's the Queen's Jubilee or the new prince is born or something like that.
So this is an icon of Christ Jesus. I stole it from my father. Of course, my father loves me, so he's happy for me to have it. It reminds me about a central feature of the Orthodox Christian religion that I love deeply. I think I'm going to have a hard time expressing it. My dad would pray in front of this every morning, so it acquired significance not just religiously, but also through me seeing his spirituality being expressed in front of it. Orthodox people think of themselves as embedded with not just embedded within the natural world, as part of the natural world, quite radically so. When Christ came to sacrifice himself for the well-being of the world, it wasn't just humanity that was transformed, it was the cosmos as a whole. So it's like humanity experienced this transformation along with every other living being. I sort of see some of these themes in this icon. There's no radical border between Christ and everything outside of it. The internal and the external are sort of connected. There's also this these natural themes, right? So on top of Christ, there's an animal. Animals are supposedly lowly. It's not that the natural world, plant life and animal life, are somehow unworthy of spiritual recognition, but it's part of it. Unfortunately, I spoke to my father, told me I was wrong. He said that the Byzantine Empire had this as a symbol for the fact that the emperor and the patriarch were both powerful individuals, and together they ruled the empire. I really don't like that interpretation because it's highly politicized, but then my dad later told me that it's okay for me to think of it how I want to think of it. So I guess I'm just going to choose to think of it how I want to think of it.
I can't even explain how excited I am to drink this.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh my god, I can't wait.
just got transported back home. I could give you a whole spiel on the mathematical process of making tea. I'm excited. More excited than I should be. No, I'm the right amount of excited.
I don't get it why Americans don't think ping pong and badminton are sports. They're actually legit sports. It takes a lot of sportsmanship and a lot of hard practices to become good at it. And my best friend was on the province team. He was all province, top 5. And he was so good. Both of my parents are in a badminton club that they actually play badminton and have coaches. So it's kind of like a big thing. It's like a family thing. The badminton racket is a gift from my dad. Because my dad loves to play badminton. He's really good at it. I used to play with him. He's a little chubby now, but he can still kill me in badminton so easily. Thank you.
This is so funny. I'm a novice tea drinker. I definitely don't drink as much tea as a lot of people do back home. And I think people don't like to think that tea personifies Britain, but a lot of people do. It is a big part of everyone's daily lives. Yeah, I mean, after you finish your lecture for the day, people might get together and have a tea in. So this is my passport. Basically got me to America. It hasn't been to that many countries because my last one ended up in the wash because I'm irresponsible with my passports. It was a very difficult experience trying to get a visa to go into America, and that was sort of the first step. When it starts to seem real that you're actually going is when you get into the embassy. I didn't realise how European I was until I came to America, because I didn't think America would be as different as it actually is. It comes in phases. Like when you first arrive, sort of the huge vast space of America kind of hits you really hard and everything seems so different. And then after a few weeks, you kind of settle in. You sort of start noticing the smaller differences and the long-term differences and whether you would be able to adjust to those. And the way people spend their time and the way people talk to each other is really different. And it was kind of hard to acclimatize to that to begin with. And right now at this point, because I've been here for a few months now, I can't really tell what those differences are, but I know as soon as I get back home, my friends will notice the differences because I would have picked them up and not realised. To be honest, I do feel like I have more in common with Central Europe than I do with America. I think it is the sort of atmosphere of Europe is very different from the atmosphere of America. Yeah, they're all very different places. And I mean, all these places I've visited, none of them compare to the experience that I'm having right now culturally, and I think there's a lot more I want to learn about America, and I'm excited about learning it as well. You're not a true tea drinker if you drink it with sugar. Yeah. Ah, that was good. feel like I can do anything now. Right, what's next?